In how many ways can we use underscores in Python? How to declare a private variable in Python? Explain about the different access modifiers in Python. What is name mangling? So all of these questions are very popular Python interview questions that confuses a lot of Python beginners who are looking for Python developer position. So in the upcoming 3 videos in the Python interview question series, we are going to discuss all of these questions in great detail. So if you are new to this channel, subscribe and press the bell notification so whenever I upload a new content, you get notified. With that being said, let's get into today's video. Hey, what is up everyone? So this is Sukanto Roy and you are watching Coding with Roy. Welcome to the Python interview question series. This is the 5th video of the series, and if you are not keeping track of this particular playlist, then I am creating a extensive list of Python programming questions, interview questions that you can prepare to become a good Python developer and get a Python developer role. So if you are not following this particular playlist, I'll leave the link in the description. Check that out. With that being said, let's get into today's question. So today's question is, how many different ways underscores are used in Python? There are at total 5 ways in which Python can use underscore in different ways. Let's see them one by one. So the first is single underscore. So there is nothing after the underscore, there is nothing before the underscore, it is only single underscore, and it can be used in 2 ways. Okay. The first is, in interpreter, it can be used to get the output of the last executed cell. And if you are using it in a program, it can be used to signify that a value does not hold any significance. For example, it can be used when you run a particular for loop and you want to run it for a set number of times and you don't want to get the iteration number. The iteration number is of no value to you in that particular instance. Then you can use an underscore to place that value, which basically signifies that it is not used in any later part of the program. So I will quickly show you this particular thing. Say you are doing 2 plus 2, and once you get the result as 4, if you just give a single underscore, it is going to fetch the value from the previous cell. If we do underscore into 2, it will give 8, because in underscore we are going to get the last executed cell. Now if we again use underscore and run this cell, we are going to get 8, not 4, because underscore always gives the last executed cell. It is basically in interpreter, not in any program. You cannot do this particular thing in a program. Okay. And let's quickly see the other part also when we are using it in a program. So we can use it like this: for underscore in range 30 or say 10. We just want to print say a particular thing, or we want to run a particular function this many times. So you can use underscore for that. In these 2 ways you can use single underscore. And then let's come to the second part. Single leading underscore. Now single leading underscore can be given in variable names as well as method names. When it comes to variable or method names, the single underscore prefix has a meaning by convention only. So it is a hint to a programmer that this particular variable is used for internal uses only. So it does not mean you cannot use that particular internal variable. It means that it is meant to be internal, so it will be preferable if particular programmer is not using that directly in another program. So let's see that in a class setting as well. Say I am creating a class test and then I am instantiating it in the init method, and in the init method I am giving a underscore bar. It is a variable name. I am putting underscore for this, single leading underscore for this, and I am saying 2. Say it will be a value 2. So does that mean that when I create an instant of this particular class, I cannot use this variable directly? No, it does not mean that. We can directly use it. The interpreter does not do anything to prevent us from using this particular variable. It is a hint to the programmer that please don't use it. Use anything that, like, you can use a getter or setter that we can later see in future videos. You can use a getter or setter to particularly access these variables, but not directly. So I am going to delve deep into these concepts, that private variables, public variables, access modifiers, in the upcoming video, as I mentioned in the intro. So if you are interested, please subscribe and press the bell notification so you get notified. As I am a small channel, you might not get the recommendations if you don't click the bell icon. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into the next part, which is variable with a single trailing underscore. So it can also be used in variable or method names, and so these basically are like, say if you are writing a program and the most fitted variable name is the Python reserved keyword. So what you can do in that case? So what you can do is you can add a trailing underscore in the variable name and it will work. So this is a convention that Python programmers generally follow, and it is also recommended in PEP. So let me just quickly show you this particular example as well. Say I am creating this specific class again, but now it is test2, and say we are passing a variable named class. Now class is a reserved Python keyword, but we want to pass a class to this particular class in a constructor. So what are we going to do then? If we do this, it will throw an error saying invalid sentence because it is a reserved keyword. So we can just add a trailing underscore and then we can use it. So this is also a convention that we use. In this way you can also use an underscore. So let's see another one. The next one is, and this is a big one, double leading underscore, or in Python we also call as dunder. Double underscores are also referred as dunder. It is a convention that Python developers use because double underscore is a mouthful. So double underscore, it is closest to a private variable that you can have in Python. Python does not restrict anyone from accessing any variable due to its open nature. But when you give double underscore in a particular variable name, what the interpreter does it changes the name of that particular variable so that it cannot be used directly from another class, from outside the class. So that is the general idea. Also, again, I am going to get into deep in this for this particular thing as well. It is called name mangling, and I am going to make a separate dedicated video for name mangling because it is a very famous question. But for now, if you are just going through this video, just remember what name mangling is when you have a double underscore in front of a variable, then what the interpreter does it changes the variable name and gives the prefixes with the class name, and then so that the variable is not accessible. So again, if I have to demonstrate this, so let me take this again. So I'll show you the differences between all this. Say I have one variable that is a self.bar, and I have another variable that with a leading single underscore self.underscore bar, and then we have self.dunder bar, which is a double underscore leading double underscore bar. So now we have these three parameters. So if we run this and then we create an instance of this particular class and then let's print bar, will it work? Okay, so I gave test 3. So will it work? Yeah, it worked. Now let's see if we can access single underscore bar. Okay, we can access it as we probably have seen in the last one. Now let's see the dunder bar. Okay, so we cannot access the dunder bar, and what is saying is that object has no attribute dunder bar, but we can see. So what internally Python does is it internally changes the name of this particular variable named dunder bar so that it cannot be used from outside of the class, but you can use it. Like, it is a very common convention what it names itself into. This is the name. So this is what you name it for as. under single underscore, the class name, and then dunder bar like and then the variable name. So this is how it names itself into. So as you can see, you can access the variable from this. So this is not a full-fledged solution for the private variable, but this is how Python tackles it. So as now we have seen double underscore bar or dunder bar, the last type is also double underscore but leading and trailing double underscore. So these we can give in variable and method names as well, but these are generally conserved for Python internal use cases. So the double underscore functions that we have, like this one, dunder init, dunder call, all of these functions are reserved by Python and they serve a particular purpose. These type of methods are called magic methods, and it is generally advised to not name your own custom methods in this convention. It is better to leave them for Python. So if there is a change in the Python programming language in the future, you do not have to create, it does not create a conflict with your code. Okay. So there are a lot of magic methods like this. Dunder init is a object, it constructs an object for that particular class. Dunder call makes this object callable. Dunder equal, EQ is for equal. It defines how two objects can be considered equal. Then this is dunder less than, this is dunder greater than. In all of this way, you can customize a particular class, and we are going to get into details about the magic functions in future videos if there is a demand for it. Okay, so just for one demonstration purposes, this dir function, what it does is it gets all the method names of a particular class. So if you give dir int, so you can see there are a lot of methods that are defined in this int class. Now see, all of these methods are internal Python methods. This dunder add function, it like gives the constraint like how two objects of this integer type can be added. What is the behavior? So in this way, there are a lot of magic methods. So this was today's video. I hope you found it valuable. I hope you found it informative. One request, please like, comment and subscribe. Obviously, please create some engagement. If you have some doubts, if you want something to change in this content, if you have some constructive criticism to give, comment them down below, subscribe, and so that we can build a community together. It is my humble request. So if you subscribe, then it will motivate me a lot to make another more videos. With that being said, thank you very much. Let's see you in the next video.